Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it. So, as I usually do, I purge a lot of videos in one day because sometimes I just have a lot on my mind and I want to talk about stuff. So just bear with me because it's going to be I'm going to try to churn out about 10 or 11 videos today. But what I want to talk about now is giving your teenager advice, or even a preteen or someone that's about to graduate from high school. Giving kids advice nowadays is it's a little different. They tend to be very dismissive. They like to shrug their shoulders. Everything is I don't know, or they get anxiety real bad when you try to ask them about things. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's like they act like they pay bills or they really going through something, and they don't understand what they're about to go through. So sometimes you have a hard time trying to explain things to them, or just having a heart to heart, making sure their mental is good and that they're on the right path. And I'm just here today to help the ones that need the help. Some of y'all probably doing a great job, but these are just some key things that you can do that I've had to use working with kids. But pretty much, when you want to give advice to a kid, first thing you want to do is pick your battles, because some of these kids are put on this earth to test you, and if you know your child, you know your child. But the first thing you want to do is choose the right environment. So, like if you got a son, the best time to talk to them is while you're feeding them, DoorDash or take them out somewhere to eat. You're already paying, so they ain't got no choice but to listen to you. And usually you have the best conversations with a guy when he's eating. For young girls, I'm sure you probably take them out to get their nails done, or some type of spa day or something that y'all do together. That's probably a little bit more intimate. But choosing the right environment, always make sure it's an environment where they feel comfortable, they feel safe, and it's something that they enjoy doing. You don't want it to get to a point where they can tell that you're trying to manipulate them, or that you want something out of them. It needs to be natural and organic, and then when you start the conversation, you don't want to lecture. It's all about giving them just advice, just giving them good advice, and seeing, where their mind is at the time, just asking questions like, how do you feel about this? Or what's your thoughts on this? How would you handle this? Or you can ask them, hey, do you have any questions? Is there something on your mind? Is there something that you want to learn or that you want to know that you feel like you don't know yet? But never lecture. Never say, hey, you better not let me catch you doing this, or you better not be doing that, or, there's no reason for you to be doing this or this or that. That's a quick way to turn them off and to not gain their trust, because you're already making demands. You're already trying to scare them straight, pretty much. While you're having this conversation, the main thing you need to remember is you got to listen to what's important to them. Make sure that you're listening to what is important to them. There's key words they're going to throw out to you. It might be school, it might be athletics, it might be video games, something on TikTok, something on YouTube. Make sure you're listening, because those are certain things that you can spend time with them on, so you can show them that you're invested and you support them. And most of y'all do a good job at that anyways. A lot of y'all spend a lot of time with your kids. So like I said, this is for people that are struggling and trying to figure out a way to connect with their kids. Another thing, and it might not be a popular thing, but you want to validate their feelings. Just be careful about that, though. You want to validate, but you don't want to pacify. You want to validate and let them know, what, I understand, and I'm definitely here to support how you feel about things, or to understand why you feel the way you feel. But you don't want it to backfire on you, where you're pacifying them or you're enabling them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You still have to be firm. You have to give them a dose of reality with that. That is, they're not always going to get their way. People are not always going to care about their feelings. So, but you do want to validate their feelings and let them know that you do care what they think. So the next thing you want to do is show them that you trust them. But when you show them that you trust them, remind them that you trust them. So like when you decide to let them go out on their own, when they want to go and hang with their friends or whatever, you say, hey, come here real quick. I trust you. I know you're going to do the right thing. But remember, I trust you. I know you're going to do the right thing. You want to put that in their heads so they know, dang, my mom, my dad, they trust me. I want to make sure I do right, because your greatest weapon sometimes is your kids not wanting to disappoint you. So if you already instill in them that you trust them so much and you think so highly of them, the last thing they want to do is hurt your feelings, or the last thing they want to do is just look at that disappointed look on your face. So it's not always about scaring them or, making them feel, inferior or whatnot. You want to show them that you trust them. And anytime they're going to do something that you're not going to be a part of, you remind them, hey, I trust you. I know you're going to do the right thing, and I trust you. You're mature, and you know how to handle things. So I'm counting on you. Sometimes it's almost like a Jedi mind trick. You're daring them, pretty much. It's like I trust you, so I know you're not going to do nothing stupid. I dare you to do something stupid. But you're not saying that. You're just saying that I'm letting you know I trust you. At this point, like I said, if you're dealing with a teenager, the best thing to do is not take their moodiness personal. Do not take their moodiness personal. Remember, you were a teenager. Remember that they came from you. So they have your genetics, and to an extent, they probably, inherited your attitude too. So you have to remember what it was like to be a teenager, and what it's like to be moody. Now, I'm not saying you should tolerate anything, but you always have to remember that kids are moody. They get to a point where they can be very moody. So don't take it personal. But that's why I said you want to make sure you choose the right environment. Make sure everything's, everything's flowing pretty good when you have these conversations, when you want to talk to them about life and the road ahead. So don't take that moodiness too personal, because that's a trick. You're going to get upset. So you don't want to get upset. You're the adult. You have to show them how to handle stuff in that situation. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is having an open line of communication. Make sure y'all are communicating with each other, because you don't want them withholding stuff. And it goes back to the trust thing. If they know you trust them, trust me, they'll have a hard time keeping stuff from you, because they don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to lose your trust. So you make sure that you're having an open line of communication. That means they can tell you things that they probably shouldn't tell you, but you want to make sure that they feel comfortable telling you, so you can help guide them through it. And I know some of this is starting to sound familiar, but that's where I'm going with it. But only talk to your teenager when y'all are both calm, because you know how that's going to end. It's just like a relationship. You dating somebody, it's best to probably talk once y'all have calmed down, because if y'all are both heated, something bad is going to happen. Somebody's probably going to say something they regret. It's never good. So always make sure you're in a calm state, and make sure that they're, y'all are both calm. And we got to get back to this too as well. Don't sugarcoat. Stop sugarcoating it. Stop trying to protect their feelings. They're in their teenage stage, so you got to start preparing them for real life. and showing them that nothing's sweet, ain't shit sweet out here. Reality will get to them real quick, and they're so used to you guarding and protecting them for every little thing. The moment they hear no, or the moment they get rejected, or the moment something don't go their way, they're going to be right back at your house wanting you to pacify them and take care of them. So you do not sugarcoat it. You can still have conversations with your kids, but you don't have to sugarcoat it. You can be real with them. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Like I'm talking right now. I can have a conversation with somebody and not project anger or not be the loudest one, but I can have a regular conversation with somebody and get my point across. There's no reason for me to do a whole lot of theatrics or anything like that. But yeah, don't sugarcoat it. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Better you than somebody else. You need it, and they need to hear it from you. That way, when they are out there and they start seeing stuff that you tell them, it's gonna be like, oh, well, mom and dad, they were just looking out for me. They weren't lying. Now you built that trust. Now they trust you because they see it. Everything you told them, it happened. So now they're coming back and telling you everything. They're confiding in you about everything, and that's what you want. But only if you don't sugarcoat it. And to piggyback off that, and this is my last one, and this is the one that irks me the most. You're not their friend. Okay? You're not their friend. You're their parent. You're there to help mature them so they can go out and have their own family and live their own life. So you're not their friend. Stop acting like they're best friends, like y'all are besties and stuff. And I get it. If you have a good relationship with your kid, then great. But remember, there needs to be a point to where it stops and say, okay, no, it's time to be serious. We really got to talk about something. So remember, you're not their friend. You're more, at this stage of them being a teenager, you're more like their advisor. It's almost like a financial advisor. Now you're just advising them. You're giving them advice. You're guiding them, saying, you know what, I think you should make this move. I know you want to do this, but I think this will probably work out better for you. And then you allow them to make their own decision because they got to learn. And that's the best way for them to learn. But yeah, talking to kids in 2025 is an interesting battle, but it's chess. It's chess. Every move is crucial, and you have to make sure you're making the right moves. And you got to make sure that you're walking through it step by step, and you're not missing steps, because the littlest thing that you miss can break y'all's communication. It can break y'all's trust, and overall make them think that they know everything already, and they're going to think that everything you say doesn't make sense. But that's just my advice. You can take it or leave it.